I'm back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help change.
It's time to celebrate life. If you know that you're in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know you want better for your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you have what it takes to be in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you are not just trying to be good for you, but for those around you, it's time to stand up. As a matter of fact, look to the person to your left and tell them you are enough.
I want to help you change, and just like you change, every time I interact with somebody, they help me change. It's no different than if I met an individual and they had 4 quarters and they needed change, or if I had $1 and they had 4 quarters, I need to change. We can swap the money. The value is still the same. They still got $1, I still got $1, but we both exchange something, and it was a change for both of us. So every time I walk out that door, I inspire to help change lives just as much as lives have changed me.
Y'all been listening to the wrong people, watching the wrong things all your life, and it's time to put to rest all those negative thoughts, because you are enough. It's time to put to rest that self-doubt, because you are enough. It is time to get rid of that negative energy, because you are enough. It is time to stop listening to people that don't have the best interests of you in your life, because you are enough. So let's have a moment of silence. I want everybody to understand that you are the person that's in charge of your life. Everything that you have inside of you to be who you're supposed to be in life. You have a destiny, and that destiny can only be accomplished through you, by you, and only you, with the help of God. When you realize that you are the person you are, because you're not a carbon copy, there's only one you. They try to put you in a box. Society tries to put you in a box, but you can't be in a box. How can you be in a box when there's only one you? But then they tell you, think outside the box. What I'm trying to get you to understand is there is no box.
I want to pass on the things that I have to the generations behind me. By the time it's time for me to get called home and go to the grave, I want to be empty. I believe in bankrupting the cemetery, so I can't take this knowledge with me, because the cemetery is already full of brilliant ideas and unwritten books and innovative ideas. I can't take this with me, so I'm trying to leave it all here as Billy Graham Jr. to the next generation so somebody else can carry it on. What it do, family? Man. We back. You don't even realize, since last week when we were on the show and we had an amazing guest, I was like just ready. I'm like, I want to get to next week, because I knew who was coming on. I knew what this person did, and I was like, I can't wait. And so Tuesday was my birthday, by the way. I was sitting down and I just was so happy. Like, not only is it my birthday, yep, turned 41, but I was like, my first guest after my 41st birthday is talking about something that I like. Now, I don't know if anybody knows much about what I like. It's very, very rare that I tell people, because I'm more invested in what others like. But I'm one of those individuals, most people will call it typical, but I love cars. And I just don't love cars. I love learning and investing myself in not just figuring out cars, but just anything in general, just learning about new topics. So when I looked at the individual that we're going to talk to today, that you're going to get to meet, not only is she do things with cars, she's also involved with learning. Man, you're touching on two of the things I like the most, learning vehicles. Oh man, I'm not even going to hold you up anymore, because this is a wonderful young lady. She hails originally from Georgia. She currently resides in South Carolina. And I'm not even going to tell y'all the secrets, because I want you to hear from her mouth yourself. So without further ado, I bring to you a woman that wears many hats, the amazing Miss Rochelle Ball.
Hello, hello. Thank you
What's
for that.
going on?
I'm so good. Thank you for that great introduction. How are you?
I'm great. I was sitting there talking about how much I like learning and cars. Then I
Exactly.
look in the background, I see family and kitchen on your wall. I'm like, you touching everything. I love to eat. I love especially eating with family. I'm like, oh,
Exactly. 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 Yeah, that's what I do. I love learning. I'm a teacher by trade, and it's just something that carries over. No matter what I do, I'm always in the teaching role. So, like you said, I wear many hats, but teaching is the chief hat.
oh, so you we diving straight in. So I want to know. Everybody wants to know.
Okay.
As you already see, my mom jumped in. Good evening. Hey, mama. And you see my wife, you already know it. Then my wife sitting here talking about, hey, and Miss Moore, I see you. She loves education too, because it is the truth. Like,
Yes.
I gotta ask. We're gonna drive straight in. But first, tell everybody, who is Miss Rochelle Ball?
So I am, hi everybody. It's so good to be here. So I'm Rochelle Ball. I am a military brat. I kind of been all over the place, but Georgia is home. Um, and I have three beautiful children, three big children, 17, 15, and 13 years old. And I'm married to my amazing husband, Tim. And yeah, so I'm a teacher by trade. Like I said before, I graduated way back in the day. I don't even remember. Oh, 2005. I graduated from college in 2005, y'all. Yep, with my bachelor's in early childhood education. And I've just kind of been doing it ever since, but in so many different arenas because I'm a military spouse. And so, we pack it up, got to move, apply your skills in a different way every time you move. And that's how you really grow. So we recently moved back to the States. We were stationed out in Italy for a long time. And then I started teaching. And then I found out about, this car rental thing. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then I kind of like stepped into it a little bit. And then I found out how good it was. And so I just jumped all in. And so, yeah, there's no turning back from there.
Now you're gonna have me ask. Now we all want to wonder. I'm wondering. So if I'm wondering, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
First, what got you into teaching?
Ooh. You know what's funny? My initial degree when I first started college, it was engineering, electrical engineering, because I'm a tinkerer at heart. I'm a tinkerer, right? And so I did engineering all through high school, all 4 years. And so, when it came time for college, I'm like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And then one day I was watching something on TV and it just sparked something in me like, I'm going to teach kids. Like, I'm going to put this engineering thing to the side because the truth of the matter is, back in the day, now it's cool because there's like women in STEM and all that good stuff. But back then, no, it wasn't cool. They were talking about, you got to dig, crawl under houses and all this other kind of stuff. I was like, I'm not trying to do that. So let me shift gears. And I was like, I'm a natural teacher. My mom was in education. So it's always been around us. My dad, his degree is in education. So honestly, it was bred into me. So I switched that to that path and been going with it ever since.
It's funny you said that because everybody knows I'm one of those people. I hear certain things,
Mhm.
and when you said that, it was funny because it was like you said it lit something inside of you.
Yeah.
And I want everybody to understand because we all have things that we do in life because we see what they call the light at the big of the tunnel, the end of the tunnel, like the big bright light, the flash, and all that. But when that light's not at the end of the tunnel, you have to have something inside of you to keep you lit, and that's that fire, that burning passion inside of you. So you might have been a tinkerer, and you still are. We're not gonna say you're
I
not.
am.
Exactly. But I want everybody to catch what you told them because you have to have that fire inside of you to keep you going because that big light at the end of the tunnel will not always be there.
That's so
And
true.
you told us that, and that is amazing because it was something that was already bred inside of you, but most of us, we ignore it. What do
Yeah.
we say? I don't want to be like mom and dad. Mom and dad doing this. I'm gonna go. We are who we are. It's in our DNA. Success is in our DNA. I don't
That's
know how to
so
stop
true.
it.
That's true. It's funny that you
So,
said that because one of the things is like we always say like, oh, I don't want to be like my mom, or I don't want to do what they did. I want to do something different. But
yes.
now I find that, especially our generation and the generations underneath us, they're all focused on like generational wealth and passing things on. So it's like there's been a shift, in the mindset and the thinking because we were like, I don't want anything to do with, I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be in the military, And now here we are, and we're like generational wealth. We gotta keep this thing going. So yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's funny because I was the same way. I was like my mom; she was real disciplinary, and it's like, this discipline. I'm gonna when I get older, I can't. And what did I do? I joined the military, one of the most disciplined places. And my dad, growing up, this dude talks a lot. All he does is talk. What do I do? Run right out there, and I become a speaker so I can talk. It's in us. We can't help it. We can't help it. So I don't want to leave that path alone. I'm gonna switch over, but for somebody that wants to be a teacher, because I didn't even think about this till you said it, but this show is all about helping people live in their purpose. Find somebody might be out there with the same way with you, that when you found that fire that lit that said to be a teacher, what all did it take to be a teacher and what all was encompassing in being a teacher?
Well, I mean, of course, going the traditional route, just learning pedagogy and things of that nature, just really learning the art of teaching. That's really what it is. It's an art.
Yep.
Because you can know something, but that doesn't mean you know how to teach it. So
Ooh.
anybody that's teaching is actually a very skilled artist because they have that charisma and they have that, it's just something about them. Their characteristics say like, okay, I'm going to draw you in with my presence, my energy, my words, all those things. It's not just this is what the book said, this is what we're going to do. It's bigger than that. So I think the biggest thing was just learning the basics, but then from there, getting different experiences because the way I was taught to teach, and I was talking to a friend the other day, the way I learned to teach in the South was totally different from what I needed when I started teaching on the West Coast.
Explain, please.
Because the dynamics of the children is just so different. Because we're Georgia, that's deep South, and so it's like,
Yeah.
come in here, you're gonna get this lesson, you're gonna sit down, you're gonna be quiet, and then you're gonna go home. Over in California, it's more, we're going to have these experiences. You're going to enjoy this. We're about to, it's totally different. So I really had to do some rewiring when it came to teaching in California. Now, when I left California and we went over to Italy, I taught in a totally different set of circumstances, right? And for that, I literally needed a brain transplant. It was like, okay, it went from we're going to have these experiences to like, oh, you seem upset. Come sit down. Let's talk about it. What can we do? I was like, okay, I was not taught that way. But to be honest, I feel like having all those different experiences makes me a great teacher for the kids that I have in my virtual school right now, because I have just a little bit of everything. Sometimes you think about a teacher, they're going to stay in that one school 20 years and they're going to retire and then they're done.
Yep.
I cannot imagine staying in one school at one time for that long. Like,
No.
that's so small. Like, the world is so big and children are so expansive. It's important for teachers, I feel like, to kind of expand also. So no matter what you're teaching, like if it's regular, primary education, or if it's an insurance class or financial wealth, or if it's teaching about the rental car agency, no matter what it is, I feel like that teacher in me is just always there. Like, oh, you have questions, tell me more.
Yes. And you said some stuff right there, and I was laughing because right as you was talking about Georgia with the Deep South, my brother Daryl Knight chimed in talking about what's up, and then Mama B, she here talking about just because you know something doesn't mean you could teach it, and you're spot on right there. You said being a teacher, and I kind of understand where you're coming from because my wife, she went through the ranks from working in childcare, being a childcare teacher, to owning her own childcare, doing in home, and I was sitting there sometimes, I'm like, how can you do this? Because these kids drive me crazy.
Right.
But then you said something about it's a skill, it's an art, and many people don't understand. I tell people all the time, You say skill, I say gift,
Mhm.
because it's something that's in you
That's
that
true.
it allows you to do it. Because everybody can't do it. Some people do it for the money, but that doesn't mean you're good at it.
That's true.
And a person that has a gift, and you said it, and I'm just going to expand on it. Your gift allows you to adapt in any environment.
That's true.
I call it the lion syndrome. Everybody says, why is the lion the king of the jungle? And you got to look, it doesn't matter what part of the jungle the lion is in, they adapt to their surrounding. They take over, they do what they have to do. I also call it the shark syndrome, because the shark, in the environment, the shark is going to always go ahead and attack. But
Absolutely.
I don't know if people know this, sharks can't even swim backwards. So you need to have the shark mindset. You can't go backwards, always go forward. You have to keep moving, because just like a shark, if a shark stops swimming, it dies.
Yes.
So you have to have that shark mindset. And you said you went from Georgia to California, all the way over to Italy. Like, you were adapting, moving forward, and you never stopped. And your gift allowed you to switch from person to person, place to place, to now you said online school, and you have this makeup. How did that online school work, especially when everything happened with COVID? Like, how did you adapt in that situation?
Okay, so when we moved back to the States, it was at the height of the pandemic. Literally, we moved into our house March 1st, and the kids started that week. And then 2 weeks later, school was shut down. So, I'm thinking, okay, I'll get here, I'll sub until the next school year. There was no subbing. There was nothing because there was no school. There was nothing for me to do. So I was like, oh my gosh, I got to figure this out. So we made it through the summer. The next school year, I got a preschool position, but it was within a school district, right? So I was teaching like a hybrid environment. So I had in-person students, and then I had online students. Now you talk about a challenge. Imagine a class of 4-year-olds online, and there's some in the classroom. So this was like juggling, like, come here. Craziest thing I probably have ever done. Like that was very interesting. But I really, really liked the online model. So like I said, I'm a tinkerer, I'm an engineering nerd in the background, and having that online model to where I could offer them so many resources, and they could learn. They thought they were playing, but they were really learning online. I was like, okay, I got to do more of this. So as that school year went on, the district decided, what if we just have like a virtual academy? I'm like, sign me up. Sign me up. Because I was kind of already in the mindset, like, this in-person thing, it's cool, but I don't know. I just feel like maybe I want to do something different, right?
Yeah.
But when the virtual opportunity came up, I kind of jumped all on that, and I haven't turned back. So now I get to teach kindergarten and first grade, and I get to do it from home. And it's been the best thing because it allows me to do that and then run my other business at the same time. So yeah, favor. It's all over me. I can't deny it because it's like things just work out for me.
Now, I have to say this, because people are still chiming in. Everybody's loving it. They already on it. Russ is saying, hey, good afternoon. Appreciate you for joining, Russ. My dad in here. Russ, I saw about the t-shirt, solo1clothing.com. Everybody can get this shirt. But I have to, because you said something when you said the virtual academy. Yeah. Because we just talked about how you adapt in the different situations. Mm-hmm. And you said how much is as much as the favor is raining on you. And I want everybody to catch what Rochelle was saying with that. When you're moving in your purpose, because remember that fire lit under teaching a long time ago, the success was already in her DNA, but she's still moving forward. And that favor rained down, and things and doors just kept opening up and opening up. Not opening up just for her, but putting her family in a better situation. Because you said it, now you're able to teach virtually, so you're able to do what you love to do. Exactly. But then it also lets you branch out, and you just said it, your other business adventure.
Exactly.
So now I want to know, can you explain to us what that other business adventure that allowed you to keep moving in your purpose as a teacher and expand and move in your purpose as a family business as well?
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to explain that, but I have to kind of go back to Aviano just a little bit. So one of the biggest things for moving military spouses, okay, how am I going to be here making money and then get there and have no money? So that is a challenge and it's stressful, right? And that right there really kind of put me in a place where I'm like, okay, I have to do some, some deep thinking, I had to rewire my thought processes to learn how to be more intentional about my thoughts and intentional about my what I'm feeding myself, not just physically, but what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, all those things, right? And so I started listening to like different motivational talks, different audiobooks. And one of the people that I followed on YouTube, his name was Joseph Rodriguez, and he'll take these different books, like The Secret, or just as an example, and he'll give you a breakdown of what each thing means. But he started talking about how it's not so much about what you have, it's more about what you want, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, you might not have a lot of money, or you might not have this particular house, or you might not have that car, but do you want those things? So start focusing on what you want, what it is you want, and the how you'll get those things will flow to you naturally. Okay. Now, he mentioned one thing. He said, if you want to have a nice car, but you're wondering, how am I going to pay for it? Well, you just have to get creative. Maybe you can get the car and then you can rent it on one of the platforms like Turo or something like that, where other people are paying the note on the car and you just get to have it when they're not using it. I thought, oh, that's cool. But when we got back to the States and there was no working and there was no, like nothing was going on, I was like, what is that thing he said again? So I'm going back through YouTube, watching, to really kind of like figure out like, okay, how am I going to kind of make transition in this very, very uncertain world that we're in right now during the pandemic? So, fast forward, I ended up landing a position and I needed a car just so I could go to work, right? So I got the car, great car, and I'm driving 40 minutes to work every day. And I'm like, this is dumb. Like, I made a bill so that I could go to work, but it just doesn't, there's something about this that's just not settling in right. So I went back to Aviano. I heard something about something where you can rent a car. So I went to researching, and that's how I found out about Turo. So for anybody that doesn't know about Turo, it's basically Airbnb for cars. Okay. So, with Airbnb, people have their rental property and they host guests, maybe for a night, a weekend, maybe even a week or a month. Turo is the exact same thing. It's where I can put my cars on this platform and I can offer guests an experience. Maybe they're new to the area, or maybe they're coming in to visit family, or maybe they're coming in for a graduation because we have a military base here, we have colleges here. So people are always, we have an airport right here. So people are always in and out and they need transportation. And this is the benefit of doing Turo. When the pandemic happened, nobody was moving and traveling. So all of the rental car companies said, oh, I'm selling off my fleet. I got to get rid of these cars. They're becoming liabilities. So now while they're struggling to build up their inventory again, I'm hosting guests left and right. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we got cars. Don't worry, we got cars. Come on this way. I get so many guests are like, Enterprise didn't have nothing. I'm like, dude, I'm so glad you found this. Welcome. That's literally how it is. Like, it's the easiest thing in the world. And I tell people all the time, like, they're like, how do you manage all those cars? I'm like, they're not here. I don't have to manage them. I take care of them when I get them. I gas them up one time. And then after that, they're out. They're doing their thing, and they come back. I wash it, run it through the car wash, vacuum it. They already gassed it up, and if they didn't, I charge them for it. So they're paying for it. If it's excessively dirty, they're paying for it. The oil changes, all that stuff is built into the price. So I have all these assets, used to be liabilities, but now they're assets. You see what I'm saying? Because I have 6 cars outside right now, 2 on the way this weekend, and I haven't made a car note since May of 2021. So I'm just saying, yeah,
Okay,
take that in.
I'm taking it in. And one thing I don't want anybody to miss that Rochelle said, anybody can do this for one. But
Absolutely.
you identify not just, and people always, and I'm guilty of it. We always look for things that, how can I get something for other people to make money?
Yeah.
When all you have to seriously think about, identify a problem that you have in life.
Mm-hmm.
You heard Rochelle. She was like, I'm driving 40, I'm renting a car to go 40 minutes away. Like, she had a problem. And she was like, this ain't gonna work. I should not have to drive just to support the car that I'm driving to work for.
Mm-hmm.
Identify a problem you have, because guess what? Somebody else has it. It's 352 million people in America. Somebody has the issue that you have.
Yep.
I don't care how you put it, you're not alone. So identify a problem and find a fix like Rochelle did. But we want to know. We got to start, because I'm sorry, we get nosy in this family over here. This family, we get nosy. How do you get started with two-row? Because you said you got 6 cars with 2 on the road, ain't made a mortgage, a payment on a car note since May of last year, don't pay for oil prices. How do you even start with the first car? Where do we begin at?
Okay, so the first car was my Ford Fusion. And so you basically, it's an app, just like Airbnb. All you have to do is just upload your car pictures, your information about your car, put a nice little description in there. And then when people go onto the site, they'll say like, oh, okay, I'm looking for a car in this area. I'm looking for these particular days. Oh, that one seems nice. And they book it, right? It's so simple. Like literally a caveman could do it because it's so simple. It almost makes no sense. Like why more people don't do this, I don't know. But that's what I'm here for. Like I literally just put my car on there and it booked, and then it's just been rolling ever since. We started off with one car, and
Your
then
personal car.
my personal car, and
Okay.
then every other car from then has been a car for Turo.
So you start with your personal car.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you get somebody your personal car? Just sit at home?
Well, I teach from home. I teach from home. But let's say, for example, if it's just your personal car, you don't have another car, and you need to be out and about, then you could acquire another car and use that one just to be,
Okay.
the rental car. And I know I get a lot of people that say like, oh, well, I don't work from home. How would I do that? Easy. All you need to do is have a location where you're going to place your car, and then a lockbox. And those lock boxes, you can get them on Amazon for like $30. Put the key inside the lockbox, communicate with your guests. Once they get there, you let them know the code, punch the code in, get the key, they're on about their business. It's so easy. Like there's literally no excuse as to why it can't work because it's almost foolproof.
Huh. So okay, I got one more. I got another question.
Okay,
so you have your first car.
Mm-hmm.
How do you transition from the first car to the second car? Because that's where a lot of people, because we're talking finances, like do you have to personally take out a loan and get another car, go in the bank? Do you got business credit? Like where are we?
Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people ask about that. So when we first started, this wasn't a business. This was just a side hustle, something we were doing on our own. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
really try it out. I'm not necessarily committed. I'm gonna try it out, see how it works. Well, once you get that first few months under your belt, it's like, okay, this works. You start bringing in 2 or 3 times the car note, and you're like, okay, this definitely works. So then you bring in the next car. I got it in my personal name. I went to Carvana's website. I went and picked up another little car, put it on there. She was gone. It's like our highest performers, our top, like the first 2 cars are our top 2 performers, but all of them do extremely, extremely well. And then from there, it was like, okay, let's try another one. Because at the end of the day, what is it going to hurt? It's not going to hurt anything. A lot of people are so protective, like, oh, I don't want to apply for anything because it's going to make my credit score go down. What's your credit score for? What's it for? To sit there and put it like make a trophy out of it? Use it. Use it. You know?
Yeah.
And these cars are no longer liabilities. They're assets because they're not costing you money. They're making you money. All these cars, they make us money every single month. You know? So it's like when it like some people are like, oh my gosh, 7 cars, 6 cars. Yeah, but each one of those cars is an asset. So why would I stop? Why would I
Exactly.
stop at 3 or 4 or 5, you know, or 20? Because we're going to keep going. We intend to keep building. So yeah, we started off on Turo, and right now we're in the process of building out our website and to where we're going to be able to offer guest bookings like directly through us. You know, we'll have our in-house insurance program that they can choose from. We have our office location, so we're building. We're really building because it's a beautiful. It's nice to kind of be able to serve your community, you know, in a
Yes.
meaningful way. And I don't know. When we first moved back, I didn't see myself as an entrepreneur, right? I always thought that was more like my husband's lane because he's very outgoing and loud and, you know, just like that. I am more, hey, Corey, I am more reserved, kind of to myself. But I've learned through this journey that, like, when it's time to go or put on a show or present or whatever it is, like, I'm here. You know,
Yeah.
and then it's like the fear goes away and then you show up, but you don't know that you know how to show up until you put yourself in the situation to where you have to show up. You don't have a choice. Like
Ooh.
it's win or win. It's either do it or do it. You don't have any other options. Like make it happen or make it happen. There's no losing, there's no not doing it, there's no falling through. That make it happen or make it happen.
Ooh. You you said something that I gotta let everybody know because I got another question, but I can't let that pass because you just dropped some nuggets, jewels. You already seen Corey talking about fire. Even got my wife on here talking about like her BMW. Like, yeah, we might be putting that thing in business.
Exactly.
But you said it. You was like about that fear of being out there, and I want everybody to understand that fear causes doubt. And last time I checked, doubt kills more dreams than anything else out there. Doubt kills more dreams than failure, fear, all that put together. So stop doubting yourself and get out there. Rochelle just told you she had to get used to being comfortable, being uncomfortable in comfortable situations. You can't stay in your comfort zone when you're trying to move up. And you heard her say it. You just got to get out there. You just got to go. You got to be put yourself out there so you can get to that another level. Because you heard her say it. I wasn't thinking I was an entrepreneur, but I had to show up. I like that because the simple fact, I'm gonna tell you something right now. You either show up for your dreams right now, or people are gonna be showing up to your funeral watching your dreams go in the grave.
Okay then.
So you better start showing up for yourself before everybody shows up for you and you didn't do what you're supposed to do by living in your purpose, fulfilling your dreams, getting out your comfort zone, and being in the present. Now, you said something that I can't let you just sneak in and just blow on by.
What?
You told us how we get the first car going. You told us what to do with the second car. You either pulled our little coat tags and told us about what your credit for. I agree with you. Like if they're gonna put a plaque up saying, I got 750, I got 800.
Exactly.
No more. Leave it there. I gotta stay.
Right.
Your credit for. But then you said you're transitioning.
Yeah.
How is that new transition? Because you got to think. Let's believe. I want you to know now. But I normally do this at the end of the show, but I'm telling you now because we're going to have to bring you back later on because we want to know about the transition after it happens. But we want to also know now what is entailed with that transition that's going where you're going now.
A lot. So if you think about it, with Turo being like the Airbnb for cars, everything is built into the system, right? So the guests come to Turo and the insurance is built in. Everything is there, like the platform is there, right? So when you go independent, when you start transitioning into your own, you got to find someone to build out your website, right? You got to, decide how do you want it to be designed? How do you want it to look? What kind of experience do you want your guests to have when they go to your rental car website, right? You got to have insurance for the cars. Like when guests book their trip, you have to have some sort of insurance option for guests to use if they decide to. So you got to get that in place. You got to have a way for guests to book their trip. You got to build that into the website. So there's all these little bitty things that are included in just the package, like just the platform, right? And then you got to figure out, okay, who's my target audience? Who do I want to come and book my cars? Anybody could book it, but there's like a special group, a niche group that you want to book your car. So for us, because we're military families, and
Yep.
so close to Fort Jackson, and so many of our guests come in for the basic training graduations out here. They want to see their soldiers graduate, and then we get another set of guests that are PCSing in. Now, I don't know if you remember, but the struggle of leaving Europe, coming to America, and you have no car.
No car.
You have no car, and you really don't know how long it's going to take. That is stressful.
Yes.
So stressful. And so where we are, the base near us, Fort Jackson, it doesn't have a rental car location on base. And so we really are able to provide for our other military families, which is something that we really enjoy doing. So, we get to go and do events on base, if they have the zombie run. So, we're there, we're handing out treats to the kids and, just to let them know that like, we're here for you. When they had their Christmas tree lighting ceremony, we were there, we showcasing some cars and just to kind of like let people know that like, we're here for you because we know that there is a need and we're excited to be able to really offer what we have. Now, yes, we have like the basic regular cars, but then we also have some things that are just, for fun. So one of our other top performing cars is like our Camaro, and I don't know.
Wonder why.
Yeah, it's black on black on black, and the red accents on the inside. That car gets a lot of love. Like I would say she started with us probably December 2021, and once 2022 hit, she's been top of the list. Like people love that car, and I love that car. So when she's home, I'm driving that car. But
I was just about to ask you that. How do you and Tim sit there with all these cars in the driveway and be like, "Ooh, I want to drive one"?
Well, see, now here's the good thing. The majority of the time, they're not here. And when they're not here, that means it's a good day in business because they're making money, But when they are here, it's like, okay, let me see. This one's here, so I'm going to take it, because we got the regular family SUV. But sometimes, you want to hop in the Camaro. You want to hop in the Panamera. It's like, okay, Porsche, okay? So it's fun and exciting. And I mean, like, when you think of like when you're a kid, you think of growing up, what life's gonna be like. You think like, ooh, when I grow up, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. You don't think of it as being like, oh, when I grow up, I'm gonna be so tired. I'm gonna be so worn out. I just wanna take a nap. No, you don't think about that. So this right here has really brought a new spark to the family because we get to constantly like bring in new toys, bring in new toys and kind of experience it. And the kids enjoy. I have one son that's like a car fanatic. And so he's like, oh, Mom, what about one of these? I'm like, slow your roll. We'll get there. But yeah, so it's been a good experience all around. So yeah, I hope I answered your question. I talk a lot, Billy. I'm sorry.
No, this ain't for me. This show is about you. We came to listen to you. You ain't talking too much. If you ask some of these people, that's why I said you're gonna have to come back on because you're gonna have to tell us some more.
Right,
but you said something. You said something about knowing your niche, and I tell people all the time about networking, but you named something about your niche. And I want to elaborate on that because people don't understand about leverage. Now, granted, if you don't know what I'm saying about leverage, I got a book right over my shoulder, Gift Seeker, Living Your Purpose. This is what this show about. And a chapter in that book talks about leverage. And leverage isn't always a bad thing. Leverage is leveraging the resources you have to get to where you're trying to go. So you heard what she said. Rochelle said that her and her husband, because her husband's military, the base doesn't have rental cars. Another problem, and they found a solution. They leveraged the military family that they're a part of. Hey, y'all need cars? We got you. That's leverage. I want everybody to understand. If you don't get it, go get the book. I talk about it in there. Gift Seeker, Living Your Purpose. And I asked you about that leverage because of the simple fact. I mentioned you and Tim talking about the cars in the driveway, but you have a teenager in your house that's able to drive. How do you stop the teenager from leveraging? Like, hey, you need me to take the car to get washed, get the oil changed? Like, how many cars in the driveway?
You know what's funny? So our oldest is my daughter, and she has no desire to drive. She's 17. She's just like, nah. I'm like, don't you want to get your permit? She's like, not really. That's scary. I'm like, oh my gosh, my baby.
The family business needs you.
Yes, but let me tell you, I was like that. And I was telling my mom about it last weekend. My mom actually, it's a whole nother story. My mom was up here last weekend, and I was telling her, like, oh my gosh, Ami doesn't want to drive. And she says, well, you didn't want to drive. I was like, wait, really? And I was like, you know what? You're right. I remember that. I just had no desire to like get out there and do it on my own. I was like, but you can take me. You can take me. I need to go that bad.
Exactly.
So it's very funny that you brought that up, because she does not want to drive. So I don't have to worry about that. But now my 15-year-old, when he's ready to drive, I'll let him drive anywhere, because he's so, I don't know. You know how you have those kids that are just like very responsible? That's him. That's my middle son.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But I have to know, because this is like that key point that I think everybody's been waiting for. I know I'm always ready for it.
Yes.
You said turning the liability into assets. You told us about from May of last year to now how the liabilities became assets. Now, granted, we don't pocket count, we don't watch people pockets over here, but we like percentage or however you want to tell. I don't know how you get it out there.
Yeah.
How does those assets help out with the family life? Because I know you're still teaching online, and we're talking about the website. Tim's still in the military, and you said 15, 20 more cars making this. How are those assets lining up that it's going to be able to pull you and Tim out of that 9 to 5 and start focusing more over here? Because you said you're expanding the website, the cars. How are those assets, how do those liabilities turn the assets to where you're going to be able to walk away from the 9 to 5?
So I would say that during the first quarter of this year, we had now remember, the Camaro was our fourth car, right? So we had 3 solid runners, and the Camaro came in as the fourth car. And within the first quarter of 2022, we did a nice solid 5 figures, right? Just from renting cars. So I like to explain it like this. When you buy an investment property, let's say you have maybe like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, right? Or maybe a 2-bath, 2 and 2. It's going to cost you nowadays maybe anywhere from like 180 to who knows, right? Depending on your area, right? With traditional investment, you're not going to get those kind of returns. I'm just going to say it like that, right?
No.
You're not going to get those kind of returns. And then the barrier to entry for doing something like this is much lower than it is for real estate. Because with buying a car, we put no money down. You just sign a paper and you give me the keys. And then in 45 days, I'll pay you with the money that the people have been renting these cars have been paying me.
Yes.
With real estate, you need that initial 10, 15, 20%, right? So I compare it to that because yes, Airbnb is lucrative, but if you can't get over that entry barrier, it's going to be a long time before you can kind of start seeing those returns with just regular rental properties.
Ooh, you're right, and that you You picking these because I'm watching everybody in my mind is the same way. Because in order for obviously, if nobody knows assets, liabilities. So liability, you buy something, you owe money on it, and to make it an asset, that means the money has to pay off. Now you owe nothing, and now you're just making money.
Right.
How long with renting cars through Turo because you bought the fourth car? How long on average would you say, like, because I know the Camaro and all that, would you say from once you get the car, how long did it take you to pay it off to turn that liability into an asset? On average, it doesn't have to be.
Okay, so think of it like, when you buy a car, in this aspect is different from real estate, right? Because with real estate, you're going to keep it and it's going to appreciate, right? With cars, they depreciate, right? Yeah. So the way you kind of get around that part right there is you're going to be keeping your cars to like a certain level. It's really the mileage. So if you're interested in getting into Turo, it's really the mileage that you're looking at. And you're going to keep it just to that point to where you can take that car back and get what you paid for it. And then you just rinse and repeat. That's the game. That's literally all you're doing. You rinse and repeat. You get the car, you pay on it because they're paying you. You pay on it, you pay on it. And they're paying you, you get to pocket the rest. And then once it gets to that mileage point, turn it back in, get a new one, start the game all over again.
I was waiting for you to tell it. So I want everybody to tell you because that's what Rochelle was talking about, the difference between the real estate and the car. Real estate, you just can't turn around and be like, all right, I'm gonna get a house back. Let me go get another house. She was telling you to rinse and repeat. And this thing is, and I want everybody to don't miss it. This goes for anything that you do, whatever your gift is. You find that when you rinse and you repeat. No different when we started out with Rochelle talking about school. She got the fire lit. She was teaching. Everything changed. She had to adapt. She went from Georgia, rinse and repeat, and she went to California. Things changed, rinse and repeat. She applied the same knowledge every time she moved. Now, granted, it took, because I promise you what you went through is the same thing my wife has went through many years. I sat on the couch. It was a lot of back rubbing and it's a lot of prayers like, God, please give us the strength. Because I don't know if people know about the military, unless both parties are active duty or both military, one side has got to deal and move differently than the other. And I tell people all the time that the spouses are the backbone of the military. Whoever it is, whether it's the husband or the wife, they're the backbone because you're picking up and moving, changing your life around. But Rochelle has gave you the rinse and repeat thing of how to recycle and find what you're doing in your passion and started at that next thing. And she didn't just stick with teaching. She flipped it over and started with Turo. And now it's flipping over in that same business that started with Turo. Not only is going to take the family to another level. Did you hear it? The kids are even involved. Of course, the oldest doesn't want to drive, but she's still involved.
Oh yeah, the kids are definitely involved. They already know. I'm like, all right, we got a booking. They're like, when does it go out? What time does it go out? Because they already know, like, okay, grab the bucket. We're gonna go knock this stuff out real quick. This morning we had one come back and it's going out in the morning. And, me and the youngest just go out there real quick and, wipe it down, vacuum it. Because, as time goes on, you get smarter about it. You just, get your little shop vac and get your supplies. And then you just, knock that stuff on out at the house and be ready to send it on its way. And it's easier than what it sounds like, because you think cars, like, oh, cars break down. There's so many tricks to like making sure that you get this thing like set up in a way to where you don't have to pay for anything, but your guests will be able to pay you for it. So like, I'll tell you this one story. So this actually was this week. We had a guest and she called me, oh, Rochelle, we got a flat tire. Did you really? How? My tires are new. Like, I don't understand. So anyway, we get the insurance company, they're getting a tow, take care of it, sending out a swap car for them. I look at the tire the next day at the auto repair place, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's definitely a flat tire, but I don't know how it got flat. Not my problem, right? But my tires are under warranty, so I don't pay anything. But that is a violation of the policy on how you're supposed to treat the vehicle, so you will be paying to cover for the repairs. and my time. That doesn't make
Ooh.
sense. So there's lots of ways that you make money in this business, and it's not just, the trip all by itself.
I swear, this is how you know me and my wife are in tune because she asked where do they pick it up from because you said that car comes in and then it goes back out. You talked about the cleaning at the house, but do they come to your house to pick up the cars? I know you mentioned earlier like you have staged places, but how do you do that?
Sometimes they do, and then sometimes we'll pick up or drop off at the airport, or anywhere that's like close. We have a YMCA that's nearby. We got a new office that's very close by that we'll start using for pickups and drop offs there. So it's all about what's easiest for you, and then what you feel comfortable with doing. You know, um,
Okay.
so that part right there is flexible. Everybody does it their own way, different ways. Is You can take it to like Food Lion is right up the street, so we park it there, meet them there, and then hand off the keys, and then we'll be on our way.
Wow. You have literally found a hack. It's not even real estate. It's car real estate.
It
It's car
is
estate.
car
Car estate.
vehicle estate. Yeah. Yeah.
Man. So so before I can't even go further because I got to know. I got so excited talking to you. I forgot to ask because there's people out there. I'm sorry if I didn't ask in time. For those that weren't able to last the whole time with us, how can people get in touch with you? Not just for renting cars, or if they want knowledge, pick your brain. Don't. How can they get in touch with you?
For renting cars, right now you can go find my link on Turo, and I can share that with you if you want to share it. All of our cars are on Turo right now. Soon it'll be on the Ball Group Auto. But if you have questions or sorry, these allergies are kicking my butt. If you have questions, you can email me at teamballwealth@gmail.com. So team TEAM ball BALL wealth WEALTH @gmail.com.
Now, I do this. I do this to everybody. Oh, well, not before I go because you ain't finna get me in trouble. My wife worried about her car being taken.
There you go.
How do you have trackers on the cars and all that?
Of course. So excuse me. So yeah,
Take your time.
we have trackers installed so we can watch them wherever they're going. We can see how fast they're going. Everything that you would need to know about your car to keep it safe, we have it installed before they go out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Now this is something that I do to everybody because you told us so much stuff from the fire lit within with the school, the fire relit again, not just in you, but lit under the whole family. That's why you was having problems. You supposed to be sipping the wine the whole time.
I know, right? I need something to coat my throat.
It was wine down time.
But
you told us how you got the fire lit. You told us how the fire with the ball group is now lit, the whole family.
Yeah.
Now I ask everybody that comes on here because you gave us so many nuggets, you blessed us with so much information. What is one thing that you would tell people to help light that? Because everybody can't see that tunnel at the end of the way. To help light that fire within them to find their passion and their success for not just themselves, but for their family. What would you tell them? What nugget would you leave them?
I would say that a lot of times we're brought up with like these ideas or ideals and values that don't necessarily serve us right now. So I'll share with you, girl. So sometimes you have to realize that like you are ever growing and ever changing. So the things that served you when you were younger, they don't serve you anymore and they're not supposed to. But tradition tells us that like, oh, well, that's how you used to be, that's how you are. Yeah, but that was the old me. Like I shed. I'm like, I'm constantly growing. So I get to shed those old layers and become this new person, this new thing, you know?
Yeah.
So as you grow and your family grows and transitions, it's so important to make sure that, kind of stay tapped in with who you are right now and what skill sets you have right now, because you're constantly changing and morphing. And if you are holding on to the old things, you're not allowing the new things to take over and thrive and propel you to the next level that you're destined to go to, because it's all in us. Like we're extensions of the most high creator of all the things. So how could we not, whatever it is, how could we not? But once you realize, like, I can let go of some of the old things that I thought I needed and embrace these new things, you just start flying. Like,
Yes.
stress gets easier. Worry starts to, you start to deal with worry and stress differently, because like you said, that light at the end, like, I see what's going on right now, but I know about that light though. So I'm gonna keep pressing forward.
Oh,
So that's what I would say.
I swear, if I wasn't hosting this show, I would have ran up out of here right now. that last nugget that you just dropped, I don't know if everybody got it. I'm worded to you one way because I ain't even gonna mess up what she just said. But I'm finna tell you what Miss Rochelle said, and you better take it how she gave it. So many of us out there are holding on to the traditions of the people around us, family members, friends. Think about high school friends that are in the same city, never left their hometown, never left the state, never left nowhere, and you're still trying to be like them. And she just told you, you cannot become the person that you're meant to be because you're still holding on to the person that you used to be.
You better say that.
I'm going to say that one more time.
Let me write that
down. You cannot become the person that you're supposed to be because you're still holding on to the person that you used to be. And Rochelle just told you, you got to let go. And if you need help trying to let go, call the balls, because they got the car that they help you get in and drive to your next destination. There you go. And if you don't know how to drive there, Rochelle will teach you. She's going to teach you. She got the car for you. The balls got everything you need to help you get to where you need to go and let go of who you used to be. Now, Rochelle, I want you to hang with me after the show, but
for sure,
on behalf of everybody, because everybody's out there talking about how amazing this show was, how much you gave them, like you just was on fire tonight, and I'm letting everybody know now. I don't know how, I don't know when, but we is definitely having to come back on because I got so many more questions we got to get out of her, and hopefully next time we got hubby right there with you because we want to keep his brain too. So we definitely got to have y'all come back on, as well as know how the next step goes when y'all launch into the whole full ball group. Now, again, stay with me for after the show, but on behalf of everybody, I want to say thank you for being on the show. Thank you for blessing us with the knowledge. We really do appreciate you. Thank you so much
for having me. This was amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Now, don't go nowhere. Stay with me. I'll see you in a little bit, Rochelle. But man, I told y'all, this is a birthday present in itself. I had so much fun tonight because this show was amazing. You heard me talking already. I didn't even have to say nothing. I don't even have to ask my wife. She already talking about it. I'm going to put my car on that. Now I'm going to have a no conversation. I hope you all got something out of this show as always, because that's what this show is about. Helping you meet different personalities, different people with amazing ideas, whether it be business or personal life, things that help you get to the best you, because we're all about greatness on this show. We want you to succeed and unlock the greatness within you. We want you to do what you have to do to live in your purpose, because we're all designed for a reason. But it's all about, like Rochelle said, finding that fire, lighting that fire inside of you. Man, we had an amazing show tonight. And as always, I thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate y'all, family. I hope y'all tune in next week. We're going to have another amazing guest. The show will be continuing on, because we want to help you all find your purpose. Because the whole thing is, I want you to live in your purpose, with purpose, on purpose. Again, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next week. Love y'all.
I'm back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help change.
It's time to celebrate life. If you know that you're in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know you want better for your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you have what it takes to be in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you are not just trying to be good for you, but for those around you, it's time to stand up. As a matter of fact, look to the person to your left and tell them you are enough.
I want to help you change, and just like you change, every time I interact with somebody, they help me change. It's no different than if I met an individual and they had 4 quarters and they needed change, or if I had $1 and they had 4 quarters, I need to change. We can swap the money. The value is still the same. They still got $1, I still got $1, but we both exchange something, and it was a change for both of us. So every time I walk out that door, I inspire to help change lives just as much as lives have changed me.
Y'all been listening to the wrong people, watching the wrong things all your life, and it's time to put to rest all those negative thoughts, because you are enough. It's time to put to rest that self-doubt, because you are enough. It is time to get rid of that negative energy, because you are enough. It is time to stop listening to people that don't have the best interests of you in your life, because you are enough. So let's have a moment of silence. I want everybody to understand that you are the person that's in charge of your life. Everything that you have inside of you to be who you're supposed to be in life. You have a destiny, and that destiny can only be accomplished through you, by you, and only you, with the help of God. When you realize that you are the person you are, because you're not a carbon copy, there's only one you. They try to put you in a box. Society tries to put you in a box, but you can't be in a box. How can you be in a box when there's only one you? But then they tell you, think outside the box. What I'm trying to get you to understand is there is no box.
I want to pass on the things that I have to the generations behind me. By the time it's time for me to get called home and go to the grave, I want to be empty. I believe in bankrupting the cemetery, so I can't take this knowledge with me, because the cemetery is already full of brilliant ideas and unwritten books and innovative ideas. I can't take this with me, so I'm trying to leave it all here as Billy Graham Jr. to the next generation so somebody else can carry it on.